Welcome to the Brett Davis Podcast. Well, good afternoon, everybody. 2 for 2. Gosh, we just did one yesterday, a podcast, and we're back today. And we were on a vacation for so long. I feel like I miss all of you. I do miss all of you. Well, I'm very honored. Of course, I'm Brett Davis with IQ Podcast at the Brett Davis Show, coming to you from Coronado, California, of course. And I'm very honored to have some friends here today that I just met. They are friends because they're doing wonderful things in the community, and those are things that we look for: beauty, artivism. I guess is a new word I just learned. Mario Torero.
Gracias. Thank you so much.
Mucho gusto.
Igual.
Mucho caliente.
Not bad.
Mucho color.
It's okay.
And of course, I have Sarah here with me. Sarah, what's your last name?
Mondragon or Mondragon.
Mondragon.
Yes.
Okay. And of course, Cynthia Salonista, which Salonista, I guess, is that your pen name, or what is
That's
that?
my pen name, writing name, because no one can spell Kostuzik.
Okay. Kind of like Stephen King's not really Stephen King's name.
Yes, just like that.
Not saying you're like kind of.
No, yes, I do. I'm on my third book.
And congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
So we're here to talk to Mario about all the wonderful things that he's been involved with in San Diego and what he's currently doing, because he's left definitely an imprint on the culture of our San Diego brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And I mean, starting, what was your first big gig? Was that the Chicano Park? Was something before that?
I can't remember that far back, but I'm sure a lot of things happened, including when Watts was burning. We were also pretty active in the streets, and because Chicano Park happened in 1970. So before that, it was running with the Black Panthers, and
you ran with the Black Panthers.
Yeah, right here on.
You ran with the Black Panthers.
I did.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And they had no problem with because I always thought the Black Panthers stuck with Black Panthers. I didn't realize that we also had Brown Panthers.
No,
Latino Panthers.
There's the Rainbow Coalition that came out right out of that. The influences, because it was time for Blacks just to take a stand.
Okay.
And Black is beautiful, and all the changes that happened after 1965 with Watts and the killing of Malcolm X. So that just drove it. And plus, me going to Memorial Junior High School, playing in the only black band, the best black band in town in the mid '60s.
You played in a black band.
Yeah, Arlene on the Pro Teens.
What did you play?
I played the trumpet.
That's what my grandfather played.
We're so lucky.
Well, because he was an artist also. Crazy.
Exactly. And I heard he was a fantastic one too.
Well, I mean, no, but I mean, the fact that you played and you were the only Latino in that group.
I was the only Latino in the ghetto.
Amazing story.
Yeah.
So this is a whole
Imperial
different
Avenue.
Wow.
Lincoln Street, Clay Street. That's where we practiced at the Williams family, Arlene Williams and Hank Williams.
The country singer.
They were leaders. Well, similar name, but this one's
different
black.
music.
Yeah.
He had more soul in his music.
Absolutely. But and it's a whole family of jazz, rhythm and blues players, musicians, black, because George Semper is the one with the Kingsmen in San Diego. I mean, you're talking about early 60s. So I was turned on to this, and I just got to this country in 1960. I came to San Diego with my father and my mother and my two sisters. And then immediately they threw me in Memorial Junior High at seventh grade, 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Where's your family? Where are you from?
Peru. We're from Peru originally, from Lima.
Beautiful music, good food, right? Very festive.
And the it's a paradise in a sense. And you have the coast, the jungles.
I've always wanted to go to Peru.
Andes, Cusco, Machu Picchu.
Yeah, Peru's on our bucket list big time.
It is.
When's the last time you've been to Peru?
About 3-4 years ago, right before the pandemic, because I've been going there kind of regularly. Every few years I go there. I have family, but I also have a movement of artivism going on there also.
So where did the word artivism come from?
Well, I realized that in the beginning, when Chicano movement got going, it was Chicano art was happening. The system used to call us political artists. To describe Chicano art, political artist. Okay, let it be that way, whatever. Because we always get labeled. What we call ourselves is different. You know, they call us Hispanics, Latinos, and they throw all that on us. But we came up with our own name. That's why we liberate ourselves. We decolonized from 500 years of oppression and became Chicanos. And so our roots is very important, but the roots doesn't stop when the Spaniards showed up. Our roots go back. I'm Inca, we're Aztecas, we're Mayans, and this is something that is very alive with us, because when we got buried there, mummified in Paracas, or like in Egypt, the thought was that we would come alive again in the future. And so I believe that kind of spirit is reawakened. It's a resurrection happening of an old traditional culture of this earth, related to the cosmos. So in this process of realization of where we come from, and then, so what does that make us now that we kind of clearing up the air and we're not being fooled anymore by so many lies and ways to try to keep us down. We realize that then that we must be in some kind of a new active world, and being an artist. And then I incorporated that new world of activism with me being at the core an artist, like my father and my grandfather, and all the way down to the pyramids.
It's beautiful.
Amen.
So your art, how has it changed from when you were in the 60s? Because we're having a little bit of a revolution going on, I would say, in some way, going on right now.
Yeah.
How has it changed since the 60s to current time?
Well, the mid 60s on forward was the psychedelic years, when and recently we did this totems at the Balboa Park, talking about our 50 years of our Chicano culture, and we had to do one panel that puts Cheech and Chong there as one of our main heroes.
I heard he's a pretty good artist himself.
Yeah, I haven't seen his paintings.
I've never haven't either, but I heard he's pretty good.
Oh my
I
goodness!
mean, I wouldn't know, you're
you're
the expert. I mean, but I heard he's pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know he painted. I know he's one of the best collectors of Chicano art.
I know he loves to paint.
Just opened up his museum.
Where's his museum at?
In Riverside.
Have you met him before?
Oh yes, I met him a couple of times.
I heard he's a very nice person.
Very beautiful man, and funny. And I thought, for when I met him, he was quiet. Maybe because he was letting everybody doing the talking, and he was just smiling around. Because I haven't had the opportunity to really be with him and talk and get into conversations. Look forward to that. We'll see what happens. But he's an artivist. See, you're an artivist, because when art, it's really not just if you paint or you draw. Art is whatever you do. If you do it well, you make it an art, And so,
I guess love making could be an art.
Love making is definitely an art.
We're going in another direction, aren't we? I got him to blush. Not that much, but a little bit.
Whatever you can tell. Oh, yeah.
So your art's changed.
Yeah, the art has changed.
It's evolved.
But because I mentioned the psychedelic stuff, because then we had a new vision, and the psychedelic posters was very popular coming out of the concerts and coming out of San Francisco.
Are those ones you use with black light?
The black light, yeah, the glow in the dark. And so I started doing that.
I still have mine, by the way.
Yeah, yours. Well, I couldn't afford them, or I couldn't reach them, and so I painted my own. So in my house, I had large pieces of paper and canvases painted, and all my friends would show up, and we get high, and it was always the lights. It was psychedelic.
Sure, of course.
So that shaped my art in those visions and those strips. The Shaman's Road brings across visions of the future, of the past, so that we can realize what we're doing now and put it to act, put it to work. So the art reflected that. Like Picasso was that way too. So we always try to do something different. So otherwise, I don't have a series of things. It becomes a series once you look at all my works, but I try to always do something different technique or different way of doing it. It's all exercises. I guess I used to be that way. Now I just don't think about it. I just show up. Okay, what do you want? Gets done. So I guess I'm getting faster at it.
Sandra Scheller, who's watching the show right now, says she had the Holocaust Museum over at Chula Vista.
Yeah.
Sandra Scheller says she loves you.
Oh my, what's her name?
Sandra Scheller.
Oh, Sandra. Yes, of course. She wrote a beautiful book about her mother and her
The Holocaust.
yes. Yes. Has she been in this show?
They're watching right now.
Okay.
She wanted to say hi and say she loves what you do. And
thank you so very much. I appreciate that very much. I don't think you have met my wife before, Sarah. You will.
Hey, Sandra.
So your art, how is the 60s, which you talked about Watts,
Yeah.
how is it, what are the similarities or differences to the 60s compared to now? Because there's a lot of activism going on and
Right.
artivism.
Yes.
So what's the difference? Is there a similarity?
We come a long ways. I mean, from that to Black Lives Matter and how we are changing and how we are affecting the system in a way that they don't just send police over there to put us down. Now we're in government. We got people there that are from that arena. New generations, they're more aware of things, and the technologies has really helped us out to communicate. So people are more aware, and that's why I feel that there's so much activity out in the streets with the youth, because it's always the youth that create the revolution. And what do they do now? They appreciate more the art. In my days, it was tough. It was hard. Oh, we were so special, the artists. Now there's artists everywhere, and the way it should be. So I'm encouraging that. Everything I do, I call it my school. This is my school of art, my cosmic school of art, because everything goes back to that cosmic realm of my main vision of Andromeda. It's just always with me. It's like my goddess.
One thing I remember, and I was on the cusp at the very end of the 60s, but I remember it very well. I remember the late 60s, 68, 69, 70, 71, those areas.
Yeah.
I remember them very well. And one thing I remember about that time was love and peace were a big propaganda for that time.
Yes.
Why aren't we hearing more about love and peace right now?
Well, for one thing, the media controls it all. I mean, good thing there's alternative media here, but the media that tells you when to hate and who to hate, and
By the way, we're alternative.
we are all like sheep.
Well,
Following.
not here. Here we give everybody a voice, and we talked about this earlier because
Yes.
If I believe something, I believe it. If I support it, I support it.
Right.
Nobody's telling me what to say, and if they did, I tell them to go to hell, because that's not what we're about.
I love that.
And the
freedom.
reason, because the audience may not agree with me, but they'll at least know, hey, that's what he believes. Nobody's telling him what to say.
Yes.
Because once you lose credibility with people, it's hard to get it back.
That's right. You have to watch that. But at the same time, we're afraid. We're not saying things that we should be saying because I'm afraid.
Really?
I'm afraid to really tell you what I really think of this political situation of the world. But except that I know that most people are aware of it. They're just not saying it.
Well, I heard you said something like art can save your life.
Right.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that theory?
Yeah. There was one of the podcasts that I
Right.
made, and it was, what was I going to title it, And it was always tough for me lately anyway, to place titles. Not like when I was young. That's what that is. Now I'm too much in the air. But art saved your life because art saved our lives. It's like Chicanos. We felt like we were oppressed. We didn't have a chance, and we were dying in jail, dying in the streets. This goes for any human beings that are in a suffering place, in a society that does not want to listen to the poor people, and so to me, that I related to that. And I feel like, because of the freedom to speak in those days anyway, it was and plus we were a bit intoxicated, so we would come out just out loud. I would not run across the street screaming today, but in those days I felt the energy around me, and so I would lead it on. And so when we took over the Centro Cultural de la Raza, the old Ford building, it wasn't hard to do because we were ready to do it. So, okay, what are we going to do?
Where was that at?
In Balboa Park,
Yes.
and
That was-
the Ford building, which is now the Aerospace Museum.
Okay.
In 1970, on January, a group of Chicano artists got together in front of the Ford building to decide if we were going to take over the building or not to create a culture center. And we were led by Salvador Roberto Torres, El Queso. He had just got back from the Bay Area and seen some of the changes that was happening in San Francisco and Sacramento. And he saw that was lacking in San Diego, not lacking in artists, because I was among a handful of strong artists, but we needed a voice. And he came and he got us together, and we became one group. And together we took over the building. We were in there for a year, and the city freaked out. They didn't know how they were going to get us out. They could not bring the police, bring down on us, because at that time the society was very volatile because of the wars happening with the Black Panthers, and everybody was on unrest. So they didn't. And plus, they thought that, and we did have the whole community behind us, so they let us live. And we made a peace treaty by we got out of the Ford building and took the water tank where we are today. And this was in January 1970. By April 27 in 1970, we went down to the border because we heard that the police were going to put a police station underneath the bridge. And again, there we survived also because I guess the community was strong. It wasn't just a bunch of hooligans, and plus artists were very respected. I suppose we're still respected.
Very much so.
Yeah,
I think
me being an
so.
artist, I don't grasp it, but I think so.
So what are you currently working on? Because it sounds to me, you just mentioned you just got back not too long from Costa Rica.
Yes,
which is probably a great place to really find your muse.
Yeah, well, I went with my muse. We went together.
So you found her a long time ago.
No, I found my muse and she took me to Costa Rica. Yes. Well, it all starts somewhere, right? With for all my life, I always heard about the end of the world coming through the prophecies, through the Bible says so.
Edgar Casey,
Nostradamus, and everybody. And that is also with the Mayans, Aztecs, and Incas.
Sure.
That
a calendar.
A calendar,
which is probably one of the most accurate calendars in history.
Right, and then it's been going on for thousands of years. It's just continuous. It's that a cosmic clock that turns.
I don't think people understand it, really. I think it's still a mystery to a lot of people because they try to think that they know what it's saying, but I think there's still a miss with what it says.
Didn't we have something at the Centro that there was the ancestor of the person that read the calendar?
My friend
Yes,
Masatsin,
yeah.
He is the authority on the Aztec calendar.
Yeah, I came for that.
You came.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Yes, and he speaks about it, that everything's written and this will happen then and so on. This kind of prophecy. And so I'm very much involved with that. I'm very much follower of that. And me coming even from South America as an Inca, I feel like I have here a purpose, reason, and mission to complete because in 1970, when we started the Chicano movement, Centro Cultural, it was 30 years before the year 2000, which the end of the world comes around that time, or at least it kicks in.
Right.
Then we found out it was 20 years more because it was 2020, kind of like, it seems like the real end, considering that we're still going through changes. But it's a long story.
Sounds like a documentary.
You've done a couple documentaries, haven't you?
Yeah. Focus. It's easier when it's kind of focused, no?
On your life?
On my life? No, not yet. It's just segments. It's like I'm trying to write my book on me. It's just so big, it's so much that I might have to start taking it out in chapters and make few books, instead of just one. But I have to get it out. It's just still among me because it's so much work. I don't have time to write my book because I'm there in demand.
I have a lot of, as you know, you're an author, and it almost takes a team to develop a decent book. You can't just do it by yourself.
I understand.
I mean, the whole cover of the book to the editing, which is very vital with anything. Editing is always very important.
Maybe Sarah could give an update of how my book is coming along.
I like how you turn that.
Well, Sarah here is helping me to edit my third book. My first one took me about 5 years. The second one I had been working on for 12, and have to thank the pandemic for actually making me sit at my desk, and I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
And then the last year I wrote my book, but I've been stuck on the editing, and Sarah was kind enough to lend her expertise, and I think I sent it out this morning. So
good.
Woo! Wow.
Good.
So keep
this
it up.
It's Peruvian's Independence Day. Today's a good day for you.
All right.
for
Oh,
us.
this is a great day. I didn't know that. Well, we're glad we could have you here.
No one's an island. We're all. It takes a village. It really
Right.
does to be able to do certain things. And I've learned that as I've gotten older. Not only that, when you do work with a team, if you find the right people, it gives you something to celebrate all together, which is always fun to celebrate, right? Have a party. But also when you're older, you can look back and remember all the memories and the good times and things and the challenges and the struggles, and you find out who your real friends are too.
Wow, man, it's been 52 years. We started together and we kind of dispersed. And everybody, we're old now. The time is coming, but we need to put this documentation together.
Bill Virtus says hello, by the way. He's watching right now.
Man.
Hi, Bill.
What a crowd. Hey, what's happening, Billy? Tocayo. Yeah, because my name is Guillermo too. I'm a Bill also. When I came from Peru, I went right away to Brooklyn Elementary, which is now Einstein. And they asked me, say, hey, what's your name? What's your name? Mario, Guillermo, William. Oh, you're Bill. Yep. Yeah, you're Bill. Oh, my name is Bill. It's great. I'm a gringo now, Man, I was like that, an American. That's so wonderful.
I like Mario.
Mario.
How you doing, Mario? Mario.
Hey, Mario. Marhu. Mark.
So tell the audience, what is it you're currently working on, and what are your plans in the next year or so? Do you have any idea?
Mira, see, it comes back again to this point. On August 25th, 2018, I went to Cardiff by the Sea, and a wave got me and threw me against the floor, and I hear a big bang, and I passed out. So I was unconscious underneath the water.
Really? Were you surfing?
No, I was just going in the water. I was kind of and I was at a place where I felt like I'd been idling too long, like I wasn't doing anything with my life.
Isn't that a terrible feeling?
Oh, it was really bad.
It's like death.
It was like death,
right?
And I think
death might even be more peaceful.
Sometimes I thought maybe I was trying to kill myself or something, because I went in there not caring about anything.
Wow.
If I drown, I drown.
Wow.
And that woke me up. I mean, that really crushed me. So I was under the water for long enough to die. And I went through it all. I had an out of body experience. Yes. Man, I see myself there all of a sudden. I didn't know I had a body experience until much later.
I had one of those.
Yeah, you
people
see
don't,
yourself.
People don't believe in it, but I've experienced it.
No, but you have to experience it in order. People don't believe it until they have that experience.
Right.
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 I had no idea even how it could be. How could that be? How could that be? No, I don't believe it. He made it up or something. But I went through that, and I died there. I drowned, and it was there. I said, okay, this is it. In peace, because as I was out, I didn't breathe in, so I didn't take any water inside. So somehow the air just ran out, and I died. Next thing, I'm on the beach. The lifeguard took me out, and I'm barely coming about, and a little old lady came between all the legs and said, "I was watching you. I saw you going in. I'm always watching you," or something like that. "I'm watching you." Yeah, I was watching you. I said, look at her, and then she smiled and walked away. She brought a smile on me. I said, who was that little old lady? I mean, it's not real, but it was my mother. It took me a few days later to find out it was my mom.
Wow.
So
your mom at that time was
Dead.
Dead.
Yeah, she had died in 2012.
She was watching over you.
She's
Yeah.
watching. She's still watching over me.
Sure, she is. I believe
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and where my mom is, my father is. My father's quiet. Just doing some drawings out there.
I believe there's another dimension where those people are around us and we don't see
Yeah.
them, and they're well aware sometimes of what's going on with us.
My mom always shows me who's going to leave this world. But my sister, my mom always takes us shopping in her dreams. I don't know why she got the shopping, because we used to all shop together. Me, I always get a little hint about who's going to go next. And I've always taken it as a gift so
Yeah.
that I'm prepared. I
Yeah.
never tell everybody, but
No.
I'm ready to be there to be supportive. And I think
Right.
those experiences are very real.
Yes.
One
yes.
thing I can say about what you're saying, and I think we'll pretty much all agree on this. There's no guarantees that you're going to wake up the next day. And so for people that want to put off doing things like when I retire or when I do this or when I do that,
Yeah.
there's really no guarantees. You have to
Right.
kind of live now in the moment, because you may not have that guarantee. Nobody knows. How many people that we've known, we talk to them one day and then that night or the next morning, they're gone.
Big surprise.
And everybody's surprised. But you know
Yeah.
what? Our life is on a string.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to live our best. And every day should be a portrait of excellence, a masterpiece.
Yeah, ideally would be for you to find out exactly what you need to do and work at that before death takes you away. And with me, it was my father's works and my book. And so I feel like I stayed here alive to complete that. So I have a reason to be here, and I'm working on it. But one of the first things that happened a month and a half later, when I was trying to recuperate and I was in pain, alone, no one really. I get a phone call, and it was Sarah talking to me about an art project, and I said, "Come on over." And she came, and I would say she's still with me. She never left.
How long ago was that?
That was October 9th, 2018.
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Also, I died in 2019. Okay, see, the 18 and 19 got me going because things were happening. Yeah. She came and helped me recoup and took care of my life in the sense to put it together. I did my whole inventory of my father's works, thousands of pieces in my stuff. I thought I never would ever do that on my own. And all that was put away. And we took off to Costa Rica with our daughter, with Lily, our daughter, 15-year-old.
So you had never been to Costa Rica
Well, yes, I have.
No, but
a couple of times.
before Sarah?
Oh, yes. When I was 17 years old, I was at junior high. I got ambushed in front of the San Diego High School,
Gosh.
and they had me fight the featherweight champion of San Diego.
Who was that? You remember?
Yeah, David Meter. I wonder if he's still alive. Hey, David, it's okay, man.
He physically not only made an impact, but he made an impact.
He was impacting me quite well because he was trained to hit that bag, and I was just like this, and he was hitting me, and
Well, you're a lover and an artist, not a
oh
fighter.
my God, really? And then I looked for the corners, and guys are going, hit him. I said, my friend telling him to hit me. God, what's going on? So I don't know what happened. I snapped out, and I just hit him one time, and he was over.
Wow, you
Boom.
knocked him
He
down.
was out. Yeah. All my black friends came. You won, Joe. You won. They call me Joe because my Bill is a honky's name. You Joe. I became Joe Ace.
I haven't heard that expression in a
Yeah.
long time.
My brother,
It's been wild.
Clem Ware, the other trumpet player that brought me into the whole
Uh-huh.
black thing, man. That was so important for me to come to Peru and be dipped into the black experience in the United States, from eating with the black families and being there. I mean,
You know, I may, this may not sound right. This is kind of a very free, raw interview. I have a lot of black friends.
yeah.
Friends from all walks of life, because friends are friends. I don't look at color. I never have. I wasn't raised that way. I look at people equally the same, and I just always have.
I understand you.
The only thing I have a problem with is the word or the individual that's full of hate.
Yeah.
And I understand where hate comes from. I get it.
Yeah.
I saw my grandfather when, my grandfather was from Jalisco, and he was very dark, very, and completely built differently and looked differently than I did. But I saw some of the racism that went on as I grew up with him, and I witnessed it. Everything from they're going to burn our house down to, me not being able to play with certain friends because look at his grandfather looks like. You can't play with this kid anymore. Things like this.
That wasn't in San Diego. Where?
In Chula Vista in the late 60s.
Chula Vista, mira.
So I remember that type of stuff. And I remember my mom was one of the first Latinas in the Sweetwater School District. And, they saw us at the mall and, they threatened they were going to burn our house down. And of course the kids got in trouble with the police. But here's the thing. I remember those things. I understand there is a difference. People will judge people by skin color. It's just a fact. It's not a racist statement. I just think that it's true because I've experienced it. But I have to say, I don't look at people. I look through all that. I look to the soul of the people. Why do you think, don't you think there's been a lot of breakthroughs with the blacks, the black brothers and sisters, and also with the Chicanos or Latinos or whatever anybody calls them? Because I've seen a lot of breakthroughs from media to politics to even acting, education, sports. I mean, we had a black president. We've had a multi-billionaire who's a media Oprah, who's made a huge impact in the world. There have been some breakthroughs, but I guess there's still some challenges. But I think, what I think? I think the media that we were talking about earlier, I think they like to cause that division. I don't think they want to see people unite. Because I think that scares a lot of people.
Yeah. With us, so they have a program, it's military, they have to have wars and they have to have people angry about something and
that's
fighting each other.
To me, the media is negative then.
Yeah. I don't want to say 100%.
A lot of it though.
But a lot of it is so controlled. It's paid, so they have to follow that. And it is a monopoly of, so yeah. So alternative media is good, and also listening to media from other countries.
Yes.
So
they have a different perspective.
Sandra Scheller was just saying, indifference is worse than hate.
Indifference is worse than hate.
See, it's putting a blind eye to it. I grew up. My mom was
silence.
My mom was a history and geography teacher who, back in the day, spoke Polish, French, Spanish, and English. And my very first family vacation was to Brazil. So on a plane, the first plane trip. And she always told us that whether you're the garbage man or the president, you treat people the same.
Right.
And everyone was always welcome in my house, wherever you came from. And
sounds like my house.
I never realized that people had that filter of hate or judgment until like in my college years. Cause I was surprised because that's not where I came from.
Right.
I experienced a lot of, I find the time that we came from, we were not that far in age, but I find it very fascinating because of the things we have witnessed and lived and seen. My God, I haven't lived half the life you have, but the whole Black Panther thing and the art and the people you've met and the lives that you've touched. But I have good memories. I have a memory of having seen the first Black principal in Chula Vista be brought into the school district. Early 1973. That was the first time in the history that there had ever been a Black principal. And he was the nicest. Alfred Madison was his name. And then he really pissed everybody off because he married a blonde white woman. That just really put a whole kink in the whole thing but he pushed through and I don't think he was that type of person either. He was the most gracious. We were raised with those types of individuals where we didn't look at colors. I played sports. We had all kinds of varieties of people we would tease each other and make fun of each other. But at the end, we were going to 7-Eleven getting our Slurpees. And, it was a simpler time. We created our own entertainment. We didn't need Facebook and we didn't need the cell phones. We interacted more.
Face to face.
We were real on each other's faces. And I miss that.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you think art crosses that border though? To bring people together.
I think it does. Don't you think so?
I think so.
Maybe you could talk to them about how it was important for you to have an arts and culture movement, because sometimes we speak of arts and culture in San Diego. There's a commission for arts and culture. And recently, after we did the Toltec totems, we were invited to do a workshop in Canto Elementary. And then I think it's called Choice Mead. And we spent 2 days teaching about the culture of the Toltecas, which is the name of the totems, And so art and culture are so closely linked because for our ancestors, it wasn't a separation. Art and culture were the same. I don't think they would, everyone considered themselves an artist, as we talked about before, made their ceramics or weaving. There was aestheticism, and beauty was an ideal that was incorporated in all parts of life. So maybe you could talk a little bit about the culture movement and how that has been important for us in Costa Rica, and even especially now, it seems like.
Yes, we crossed that line. The Chicano artists, we first of all wanted change in our community, and we were artists, but outside of that, the politics in the streets, the repression of the police, the poverty, the injustices that were happening, and as we learn our history, we see all the atrocities that happen. All that wakes us up to think that in order to change it as artists, we would use that a message of liberation in our art, or protest against it, but at the same time realize that the community and the artist is one. So artivism comes into play, but it is culture. The streets, the community, everything is culture. Everything is culture. The food they eat, the cars the way they dress, all that is called culture. Is social human behavior. It's society. Is a culture. No, what culture was the Aztecs? What culture was the Americans? What culture are the Russians,
Right.
or whatever?
Right.
And so
It's how you, culture is kind of how you live your life. Where you live, what you say, what's standard practice, or what everybody eats at home, what everybody, how your parents raised you,
yeah. But the system that educational system has taught us that is different. And then in around early 70s, I think Proposition 13, it cut art out of the schools. And so and so there's always been a thing to control the people. I guess art was a threat, perhaps. But we always had culture. You may take the art a bit, we can hide it, we can go underground, but culture is still out here developing.
Right.
When I came in 1960 to San Diego, I saw that apartheid was live and well, because south, it would be south of Market would be black, and north of it would be all white, like Brooklyn. Brooklyn, how many? 300 kids in there, but there was only one Japanese, no blacks, and one Mexican American, and one Filipina, and me, a Peruvian. They would come to me, where are you from? Peru. Oh, Peru. They seem to come alive. It was from Peru. If it was Mexican, no, then maybe not. I don't know. It was, it's still fresh from the takeover, taking the land. The Mexicans are don't forget shit like that.
Well, we won't get into the whole thing that the Indians were here first. That's a whole different world.
That's
Right.
a whole nother show, Brett.
And that's what's the difference between Chicanos, Hispanics, and Latinos. The Hispanics and Latinos do not consider the indigenous heritage. Chicanos do. We know we're indigenous.
The indigenous people were here before anybody. That's just the
Yeah.
bottom line. It's just a fact. It's just what it is. And I have, like I said, I have friends from all walks. I get in trouble by saying that, but I'm very much about the whole history of what, how Spain came over here, and
Tell the truth.
but it's the truth.
Yeah, yeah. And when we went to Costa Rica, I go there to write my book. Finally,
Awesome.
And
How long did it take?
to do what?
The book.
Well, no, the book is still in the desk, tape,
Okay.
papers, and stuff, and the computer. Yeah, I have to find where things are at.
God, we're so much alike.
Oh my gosh, But that was straightened out. That will be straightened up. But no, we get to Costa Rica and we land in San Jose. And I'm a few days there. And the first thing I said about San Jose, I said, this is the land of opportunity, because it was like going back to the 50s or something, or the 60s. Everything is not, it's like it used to be, peaceful. The people there, I mean, it's unpolluted. There's no pollution there. And then when we went up to where we live up on the northwest, this little towns along the beach, it's kicked back, it's beautiful, the beach, the people, everything is nice, no?
Mhm.
but underneath it, there's something brewing. They're strong, and so because I'm brown, because gringos can be brown. Always been used to white gringos, but now they got seeing brown gringos. But I speak the language, and so right away.
So in Jalisco, there's a lot of tall, fair-skinned, blue-eyed, light green-eyed, and a lot of it's because of the European Spanish influence that was there.
They kept good colonies. They do that in Peru, the Swiss colony in Peru, and in Guadalajara they have that, the French quarters, and people stick to their own people.
A lot of people don't know about the French quarters.
Yeah,
they don't.
No,
because
only the French do.
They have a very exactly, but they colonized their ears, and in some areas they're still speaking French. People don't know this. They think they have a very one-sided view of things, like most people do.
I'm Polish, 100%, and there's branches of my family in Argentina and Brazil, and during World War II, a lot of the Eastern Europeans went to, and then when I did go to Brazil with my family, there were a lot of people speaking Italian and speaking other languages, and
sounds like a good party.
Yeah,
I was 10 at the
and
time,
a good mix,
so I don't know.
Right? It's a very nice mix,
yes, yeah.
I love it.
The thing is, that's what art can do. It's just, and people these days are not so encouraged for their arts. There was some times I went to Palomar High to talk for Career Day and reach out to the creative kids. Just because someone heard something I said, that even though my mom was a master's degree teacher and my dad was an engineer, they always encouraged my artwork. And I think that's message is being missed for our next generations, that say your voice through art.
So for anybody out there listening right now that maybe is a young person thinking about being an artist, or maybe they're afraid to really let go and allow themselves to create because maybe they're just, sometimes artists are the hardest people in themselves because they never think their work's quite up to par. What would you tell them to do? Or maybe there's a parent out there that sees that their child has a gift and maybe they're not really sure what direction to go. What advice would you give them?
When I was little, and my father's already an artist, and even coming to the United States and going to the library, it was an eye-opening to pick up books on the life of other artists, the masters, and study them and look at their artwork and read about them. With me, I guess it came easy because my father encouraged it, and I was already on the thread. But a kid who's the only artist in the family, and he's not going to be making any money of that, and he's graffitiing somewhere. It's a tough situation, but you can't stop it. Art cannot be stopped. An artist will not be stopped. If you have art in you and you're developing it, you're going to be putting your name somewhere. I mean, you start doodling. You just can't stop the artist. Ideally would be to have a school of art, because that doesn't exist, and that I wish that was my dream to create one, and I hope to pass at least the message. But we need more schools of art, and I'm glad that art is coming back to some of the schools. I understand. I said we went, and there's a more humane attitude towards teaching, in which art has become a tool to help their curriculums and understand science or
mathematics,
math, or reading and writing. So more art books, but now with the internet, I don't know. I'm still old school. I haven't really fully read digital or heard digital tapes and so on. But I'm sure the new generations will pick on that. I'm hoping.
I appreciate you being here today.
Gee.
Both of you and Sarah coming, and of course, thank you, Cynthia, for setting this up.
Thank
I
you.
really had
Thank you both.
a great time. It went by really quick. I really admire the love that you have for people and for the art world, and it's just an honor to meet both of you.
Oh,
and I look forward. And I think there's so much unfinished things that the world needs to hear about what you're going to do. And these kids need to be really, they do need an art school with your name on it. Something that you can pass on. That's when you're gone, it's still living. Something that you can leave, a philosophy or something that you really have a strong faith or belief in.
I do want that to see happen.
I would love to help any way we can. Let me know.
Oh,
And I
man.
really mean that. At least maybe we can collaborate with putting the right people together to see if something can happen.
Oh,
Because it doesn't happen. Like I said, we talked earlier. It takes
Yeah.
a village.
yes. And we have some things for us. We have the Centro Cultural de la Raza already. We have Chicano Park. These are areas and land that can be utilized. They're not going to kick me out if I went to say, hey, I would like to have a workshop here, have a school within the school. It would open up their hearts. It's a matter of just making it happen, deciding and seeing what the team is. And you definitely have been an inspiration again here to drive us further on to the things that
And-
we're
and
doing.
if I can make one plug, we actually have a big project coming up in Escondido in August, September, maybe until October.
Where's what area?
Right next to Washington Park. It's at the Tortilleria Santa Cruz. There's 2 murals going there, one by another artist and one by Mario. And we're actually renovating the whole facade.
Oh, nice.
And we have a festival coming up. We just got awarded by the San Diego Commission for Arts and Culture called
Congratulations.
Our Wall Speak. So we're
Congratulations.
always looking for young artists. We have some even paid positions for people who want to paint or volunteer.
out.
Yeah. So they
Yes.
can check out the website, mariotorero.art, or send us an email.
Somebody listening to out there that some young artists that exist that could use some help, you just give them my name, give them our names and our website, and we'd be glad to plug him in to raise this school that we're talking about.
There you go.
Further. Thank you.
You know what? They can do it. They have the energy and the power to do it, and they have the vision, and they have good karma behind them for all the good things that they do. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you for inviting us.
And
Yeah.
thank you to my sponsors, because Attorney King, I showed that wonderful card that you have. I'm wearing an Attorney King hat, as you can see.
Hey,
We would not have our facility if he did not believe in the dream.
wonderful.
He supported it. And, most people don't understand what it is to have a dream, but thank you, King, for allowing me to go forward with the vision. And thanks for all the community things you do. And of course, Saquon Casino and Resort, Cody Martinez. We look forward to honoring more school teachers at our Academia Awards at Saquon in December. It's going to be a great event, and a lot of good community people are going to be there. Everybody has that one teacher that made a difference in their life. So this is something we all can get behind. And also Marina Teal, and we produce her podcast all the way from Houston, Texas. And she is a great lady, and watch her podcast when she comes on soon, hopefully one of these times again, after she gets situated in Texas. And everybody out there. Oh, and of course, Mario from Bona Fiqueta, the garage. Huh? What did I say?
Mario.
Mario. This is Mario. Marco, thank you so much. Marco, thank you so much. And for all the community things you do and some of the best Italian food, Bona Fiqueta, the garage in Coronado. Everybody take care. Be nice to each other, and let's love each other. Everybody have a great day.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank
Respect.
you.